And this is another, getting into the data side, this is very juicy. So these are the things you can track. Impressions, captures, shares. Also, you can track video shares. So if someone actually does a video, and this is mainly on the Spark AR side. So you basically have two different sets of metrics. You have the AR ad metrics within Facebook. Well, they're not AR, sorry. They're instant experience metrics. So you have specific metrics to do with instant experiences, which actually are a little bit further on. I'll run back in a second. But yeah, so you have these four: instant experience, outbound clicks, instant experience view time, instant experience view percentage, and then instant experience clicks to open. So the one starting from the left to the right, you're getting, actually let's start the other way around, right to left makes more sense. So clicks to open, that's someone jumping from the feed into your instant experience. So anyone seeing the ad and they're like, cool, let's try that out. They click on the actual, the ad on the feed, and it says try on or try in your space. There's a CTA within, like on top of the creative that you have running, right? So that's what the metric there is. So you can look at that and you can say, okay, cool, that's not, people aren't responding that much. Maybe I need to change a different creative there. And you can also use all of the other creatives, all of the other metrics you have to judge whether or not that creative is having a good effect and test it out. But this one gives you, specific insight into, is that creative I've got pulling people into the experience, which obviously that's the objective, right? So you can use that. Instant experience view percentage, that's basically the amount of people clicking who are viewing it. So I think most of the time that's going to be 100%. I don't know why people would click and just close it straight away, but maybe that might happen. So that's where that would show up. Instant experience view time, so that's how much people are spending on the actual filter, and this is an average. So this is just one example of an ad set I got running. This has not had a lot of spend, but you can see people are spending like 30 seconds on there, right? And the average attention span of someone on Facebook is less than 6 seconds, unless you have a super hot video that's pulling people's attention for a long, long time. I mean, it doesn't need to be a long time, does it? It just needs to be 10 to 20 seconds, I guess, to really get the job done. But they're spending longer in instant experiences, basically, with their AR ad. So that's very important to highlight. And of course, you could use this metric to, okay, well, people are coming into the AR experience and they're leaving within a couple of seconds. You're like, well, there's something that needs to be done there. Either you're targeting the wrong sorts of people, maybe the feed thing, the actual creative you're using on feed isn't really telling this story, educating properly, or maybe the AR experience needs to be worked on a little bit, tweaked, or something needs to be done about it, right? So that's the metric you use for that part. And then you have instant experience outbound clicks. Obviously, how many people have gone into the experience from the feed and then clicked to your site. So you see from people clicking on the ad to people going to the site. I should have probably done the maths on this, but it's quite a high percentage, right? I don't know what that is. Anyone good at maths? Let's do a quick percentage workout. What is 29? It's 117. So that's 25, just under 25% of people who went to the AR experience went to the site, right? So yeah, let's jump back to where I was before. Just talking about the different areas you can promote as well. So there's going to be a lot more coming. One really big one to highlight is Shopify AR. So at the moment, they do have the ability to have 3D product images. So that's going to be a really big thing really soon. So AR playing, going to be on Shopify pretty soon. So that's going to be really useful. Email, I mentioned, you can basically have a deep link to the actual AR filter itself. Snapchat, that's really big for AR already. Messenger, that's another area. Chatbots, and I guess these two really tie into each other. Pinterest are also getting quite hot on it. And also it's Etsy are in on the AR game. So that's quite an interesting side of things. So this is basically about the actual thing, that you need, the creative you need to pull people into the experience. And this is really sort of what we found works really well at the moment. So something that's designed for the sound off with 15 seconds of video. And that sounds really short, but honestly, it doesn't need to be a long video. It just needs to be something that educates someone into, this is what you need to do. Click on this and then do this. So it'll just have an example of, from the free UGC you're getting, an example of someone using the filter. Someone attractive or someone that looks like them or something, something that resonates with the audience, right? And that's basically what you need to be using. And the video doesn't need to be a long video, but around 15 seconds is a good sort of length. And we put design with for sound off because hardly anyone actually clicks and listens to stuff. So obviously you have some captions or something along those lines to get the attention of the people who aren't actually listening to the sound. So these are the audiences. These are the countries that we're testing audiences in the moment. At the moment, so North America, Europe, and APAC. So Asia and New Zealand, Australia. There's a certain level of awareness that needs to be had to be able to, I think, not go over people's heads. So that's why we're using these countries. I know there's far more countries that are far more used to AR than other countries. For example, in India and in South America, Asia, other parts of Asia, really, really hot on AR. Like a lot more brands and stuff use it here. So I'm definitely not saying don't target, depending on where you are. Don't target places, only target these. But this is just where we're finding like good results at the moment. So actually you need to update this because I didn't update to say Reels for Facebook. But yeah, these are the platforms you can use. Well, these are the placements, you can use. It's mobile only, so that's very important to note. You can't do these on desktop because obviously it pulls you into your camera on your phone. But who uses their desktop to buy stuff anymore? Not that many people. So if people are on desktop, your product, your audience are primarily on desktop and not really on mobile, then this might be something you need to look at, like how you're going to bring them, off their Facebook mobile feed and Instagram mobile feed. So it's just something to highlight as well. And then more information about macro, micro influencers. So these are basically let's go basically now we can jump into the actual building side of it, how it works, the steps of it. Let me just have a quick break of water. How's everyone absorbing this so far? I know I'm talking a lot, I'm talking very fast, but there's just so much to get through and there's just so much juicy detail here. I really hope you guys are, enjoying this so far. So yeah, let's jump into the actual build side. How does it look? What sort of strategies can you use? How does it work? So this is the actual objective you can use currently for AR ads. So it's limited to these 4, but we all know we only really want to use one of these, but they are all very useful for their own purposes. So the top 2, brand awareness and reach, those with the AR experience, with the AR ad, your CTA or your action is to swipe up. The traffic and conversions is a massive CTA button that bounces in the middle of the screen, well, the middle bottom of the screen. So that's basically the biggest difference, apart from obviously the actual objective and the optimization. But that's the difference in the actual experience, I mean. And of course, traffic conversions, sending people either to the site or sending people to perform an action. Brand awareness and reach is more for, just getting to as many people's eyes as possible. And then reach, you can just have a lot more control on the frequency. If you have, say you have a sort of small audience and you want them to see it one time a week, you can do that with reach. Brand awareness is more like, okay, cool, just these people, just send them as much as you want, just you can work out the frequency of Facebook. So how do you actually do it? So I'm actually going to create a cheat sheet pretty soon. I was hoping to have it ready for this, but I didn't. It's not ready at the moment, but that's just because the design is going to be awesome, just like these slides are. So anyone in the group, I'm going to give you guys that, and actually anyone interested, join the group, and I'll give you guys the cheat sheet, which will just basically help you from step A to step Z, how to actually set up your AR ads. But this is just a compressed version of that at the moment. So you first need to add the instant experience into Spark AR Hub. So that's the program Facebook have for creating AR experiences. So that's how you need to get it done first. You can set an account up free, and you can even go into gallery in there and have a look at all of the different filters and stuff people are making. Currently, there's a massive competition going on for Cyberpunk. Like, I don't know if you guys know Cyberpunk. Is it 2077? I can't remember the year after the name, but they're having a big competition with, they give you the assets basically, and the creators go out and they create, the different versions of whatever filter they want with these assets, and then the winner gets something. I don't know what the winner gets, but it's awesome. Like the talent is incredible. So you upload the filter into there first, and you need to select that it's for ads, right? Because you basically can select for just uploading the filter as an effect, or you can upload it as an AR ad. So that's one of the options you get. And then you create all the information there, and you attach it to the page of the Facebook ad account you're using. So those are steps that are not included here, but they will be included in the cheat sheet that I mentioned. So once you've done that, then you can select it in the template. So when you go into your ad, to create your actual ad, you have the option to do instant experience. Obviously, you know where that is. Underneath where you normally would add the image, video, carousel, whatever, and you can select instant experience just below that, and then you press template, and then you would be able to select the effect you've added into Spark AR in there, as long as it's been attached to the page and as long as it's been approved by Spark AR, because I believe they need between 3 and 5 days to basically approve it. But actually, when I did it, it took a day, so I don't think it takes that long. So yeah, anyway, once that's done, you can select it in the template, and then you can select that in the drop-down menu as it says there, and then you can put your URL, call to action, and then also you can select whether it's front camera, back camera, or default. And then default will just basically be the one you selected in the actual effect itself, so it won't mess it up, because obviously if it's a face filter and you're putting it on the wrong camera, it's going to not work. It has to be the front camera. And then you can do one of these juicy call to action. So these are the call to actions that appear on the feed creative that you have that pulls people into experience. So we haven't gone into the experience yet. This is just what's on the outside. So tap to try on, tap to interact, and then tap to see it in your space. So obviously this is more for back camera, and these are more, well, actually, I guess this middle one can be both. So more for front camera, more for both, and then more for back camera. So if you know what I mean. So the tap to see it in your space will basically open it up in front of you, and just put it on the floor or put it on a table, or the sort of AR experiences you're used to with furniture and things like that. That's how you would select that. Once you've done that, then review, check it out, test it out, send it to your friends, give it a little preview, make sure everything's all hunky-dory, and then, tap done. You're done. You're ready to roll. I guess I went through this quite a bit already because I was talking about metrics, but I guess what I didn't really talk about was the one was the Spark AR actual side of metrics, but if we jump back to this again, the actual custom audiences you can make from the data you get from instant experience is a very big thing to highlight. So I've created a post on AR ads mini funnel, I call it. So I'm actually considering creating a cheat sheet for that separately, but it's basically a whole strategy based on the data you get back from the AR experience. So basically, I'll break it down into 3 different audiences, and these audiences are all based off events from Facebook on-app events. So they're not conversion events, and they're not ones that have been affected by iOS, basically. So basically, what you can do is basically you can go into your custom audiences, and you can create 3 different audiences based off what people have done, the actions that they've done on your AR ad. So number 1 is post engagers / ad engagers. So these are people who've clicked on this ad within this the last etc. days. So if you're running the AR campaign alone, you can say, okay, cool. Since I started the AR campaign, let's just select these people who've done this action, because it'll be those people, right? Step 2 would be create a custom audience from people who viewed video. So if you've used a video for the feed ad that you're pulling, your feed creative that you're pulling people in the AR ad experience with, you've got even more data there for video views. So if you've used a video of just like 15 seconds or something like that, I'm not saying you need to use split it up into 2% and people who've watched 95% and all this sort of stuff. That's not really necessary. But as a bulk audience for people who viewed the video, they may have potentially viewed the video and just been distracted or something. It's almost like an abandoned cart. They might, oh, this is cool, but I haven't actually gone into experience yet. So there's a way of retargeting them, right? So basically retarget them with the AR ad. And then the actual AR experience itself, the instant experience, has its own custom audience. So you can create another audience. So there's 3 different audiences you can make. So I'll definitely create a bit more material on this to sort of help people visualize it and put it in and implement it, put it into practice. But you can basically create a mini funnel based off your AR ad. So just think about the power of that. Yeah, Spark AR has its own metrics that it can track. So this is actually encompassing all the metrics to do with all the organic reach. So, within Facebook, you'll just be able to see this spend equated to this many impressions, this delivery, etc. But Spark AR will show you everything. Since its inception, you can choose different timelines. So you can choose 28 days, 14 days, and seven. No, actually, that's wrong. It's maximum, so lifetime, 28 days and 7 days. That's right. So you can choose those three timelines, and then you can have a look and see, what the metrics are like for that. And then you've got impressions, opens, captures. Obviously, that's someone doing a video or an image, taking a picture or taking a video. Saves, this is a really important thing. So that's mainly for Instagram. You can save the effect and you can go back to it later. And then shares, the same. Organic is incredible.